wanted to ask you, Ed, about Greg Beales and Geoffrey Robinson. It was very clear from the evidence that Beales, one of your very special advisors, had emailed Geoffrey Robinson outlining his plans to meet people in the Coventry North West constituency. Geoffrey was to stand down, and Greg Beales would emerge as Geoffrey's favoured candidate. How much did you know about that?
Well, Geoffrey's not standing down. Geoffrey's announced that he's staying on, and I'm pleased. I think Geoffrey makes a big contribution to our party. I think he brings huge wealth of experience. Obviously been an MP for a long time, a former Treasury Minister, important business background. So Geoffrey's decided to stay on. I'm pleased about that, and I think he'll carry on making a contribution in Parliament.
The question was, how much did you know?
I'm not getting into to all of that, honestly. I think there isn't a story here because Geoffrey's staying on, and as I say, that's a good thing.
Does it concern you that a very important member of your team was considering a move and now isn't?
Well, my concerns are about the people of Coventry North West, and I think Geoffrey served them incredibly well as an MP, and it's obviously up to them, but I think he'll continue to serve them well as an MP.
And that's the key thing, isn't it? People know very well from the evidence now in the public domain that this plan was there. Geoffrey intended to resign. That can't be contradicted by the evidence in the public domain. Isn't there a credibility problem here for Labour in Coventry North West? Voters would like to know, Geoffrey, did you actually want to stand in Coventry North West or didn't you? Further, how long will you be an MP? Were you to win on May the 7th, how long will you be MP of Coventry North West for?
Well, that's a matter for Geoffrey, but I know that he's standing again at the next election to stand for a full term, and I think he'll be a, it's up to the people of Coventry North West, but I think he's been a very, very good constituency MP, and will continue to be so.
I also wanted to ask you about some local cases, which I clearly wouldn't expect you to know about, but it's this issue of immigration. And you've said many times in the past when I've spoken to you before that Labour got it wrong on immigration before, too quick to brand people who had concerns about immigration under pressure on public services as being bigoted or racist. We have examples of exactly that, of Coventry Labour councillors, one called Rachel Lancaster, on Twitter denouncing a Greenbelt campaigner as racist because of her very strong views about immigration controls. Another one, David Galliers, wrote in the local paper making comparisons with Nazi Germany and apartheid South Africa. Those have been subject to formal complaints. Those complaints haven't been dealt with by the Labour Party for 2 months now. First of all, are you concerned about that?
I'm honestly not going to get into the detail of things I have no knowledge of and don't know the details of, and it's not a matter for me to deal with directly. Look, I think we're in a big election campaign which is about the future of the country, and I think what people are concerned about is actually what kind of country we're going to be. Are we going to be a country that works for a few people at the top, or are we going to be a country that works for ordinary working people again? And that's about the minimum wage, 0 hours contract. I think that's what your readers will be most interested in.
But you would repeat your view that it was wrong in the past for too many people in the Labour Party to brand people as racist or bigoted because they had concerns about.
Well, I'm not going to get into the detail. I just don't know the detail of the situation that you're talking about. I think my remarks on the record are well known, but as I say, I'm not going to speculate about a story I don't know the details of.
I interviewed Gordon Brown in 2010. He said he wasn't going to go anywhere near talking about 1997 and big business being against the minimum wage at the time. He and his advisors clearly felt that might put off the electorate. You seem to be a different Labour leader.
I have changed the Labour Party, yeah.
You're quite clear, as you did today, say, in 1997, these are exactly the same people who opposed the minimum wage. Is that a key difference between you and Gordon Brown?
I have moved the Labour Party on. I've moved on from New Labour. I think it's right to do so. We're a pro-business party, but that's not pro-business as usual. We do need to change the country in the way it works, whether that's on energy companies or the way the banks work, or our commitment to an £8 minimum wage. I think all of those are important things. Of course, you're going to always get people who don't like what you're doing, and sometimes they'll use arguments about the impact it'll have on the economy and so on. I just take a different view about the way the country succeeds, and I think it's important people see that in our programme, whether that's banning exploitative 0 hours contracts, raising the minimum wage, reforming the banking system, freeze on energy bills so they can only fall and can't rise, giving the regulator the power to cut prices. All of those things are about saying we're going to stand up for working people again.
Sorry, we're going to have to move on.
Thanks, Les.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sorry, we have to keep it relatively short. It's just
I knew you would.
schedule.
No problem.
Cheers.
That's fine. Thank you.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye.
I'll speak to you later in the day. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ta-ra.